All right, welcome to the Cigar Cellar. We're out on the patio, just got these fireplaces in, and we're gonna be smoking the Padron Anniversary 1964 Pyramid. I've never smoked it, so I'm kind of excited. Today we wanna go over a few things, some do's and don'ts when you're at a cigar lounge or you're just smoking premium tobacco with one of your friends. When cutting a cigar, never, ever, ever put the cigar in your mouth and then use the cutter. So never put the cigar in your mouth before cutting it, especially if you're at a lounge or with a friend and then you're gonna use his cutter. Another thing I wanna talk about with cutters, there's a real bad habit in cigar lounges or with buddies is to get the cutter, make the cut, and set the cutter down without emptying the loose tobacco in the trash or in the ashtray. So if you're using a friend's cutter or the lounge cutter, never ever leave the tobacco in there. Just be courteous. All right, I'm gonna light this up. For those of you who know cigars, you know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna lightly toast the foot here. This end of the cigar is called the foot, and the top there is the head. It's hard to see because the wind is blowing it, but I'm just lightly sealing the wrapper and the binder, which are the last two layers of tobacco. You don't stick it in the flame. Not trying to burn the oils there, that's where all the flavor is. Okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw on this, and I don't want to stick the flame right at my face, or if you're helping a friend light, you don't want to aim the flame straight at the face. You want to bring it down to about a 45 and drop it below the surface of the cigar. Then you're gonna give it a slight rotate. I always like to blow on the foot of the cigar to just double check my light. Now again, we're talking do's and don'ts. One of the mistakes a lot of people make when lighting a cigar is they like to shove that cigar right into the flame. And what that'll do is that'll burn the oils in the tobacco leaf. It brings out this burnt flavor. Now remember, this is a highly refined tobacco leaf. A lot of work, effort, study, and sweat has gone in to perfecting this tobacco and to make it taste a very specific way. And so when you go burning it and torching it like that, you change the flavor of the cigar and you won't get the best quality out of the stick. In cigar world, cigar culture, there's this saying that a gentleman's smoke is about one smoke per every minute. Now I smoke a little faster than that, and some days I smoke a little slower. But to give you an idea of how fast you want to smoke, this is not a joint, this isn't vaping, this isn't, cigarettes. It's meant to be contemplated. So another one of the do's and don'ts, you don't want to smoke it too fast, and especially if you're new to cigars, you'll get that head rush. It's not meant to give you a buzz or a bump or a hit. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's about taking the time, it's about the experience. I love smoking cigars with friends and having good, deep conversations, or just sitting there by a fire, watching sports, and just thinking about the notes. Now, if you know anything about cigars, you already know you never, ever, ever inhale. You never want to inhale cigar smoke. It's very painful, it's damaging, and it's bad for your health. We like to say about cigars, they're a hobby, not a habit. You draw it into your mouth, you hold it for as long as you'd like, and then you let it out and you get to enjoy the flavor as it's coming out. I'm not a deep thinker, but all my deepest thoughts tend to come when I'm smoking cigars. Something you need to know with premium tobacco, and again, back to the do's and don'ts. If you lump this in with big tobacco, you're getting it all wrong. Cigarettes are about that hit, that quick fix. They're very addictive. With some of these cigar labels, they won't even let you roll their cigar unless you've been rolling cigars for 15 plus years, okay? So make sure to take the time and enjoy the construction. This is a piece of art. This is a piece of skill and science, and it's taken time and energy, and people have put their heart, in some cases their lives, into making this product. It's meant to be enjoyed, it's meant to be contemplated, and I mean every bit of the cigar is meant to be taken in. So don't lump this in with big tobacco. This is a completely different thing. When you're in a cigar lounge, or even just sharing a fire pit with some buddies, What you do not want to do at all costs is to be offensive in your conversation. It is meant to be a safe space, and I hate to overuse that expression, but it's meant to be a place where you can come and rest and relax, enjoy good tobacco, a good drink, and good food and conversation. So you might have big opinions on the latest election, you might have that one football team that you really love, but just know that there is a limit. When you're sitting with a friend or even a stranger at a cigar lounge, they want that good conversation, they want that camaraderie, but they don't want you to force your opinion on them. And they'll respect that mutually, and they won't force their opinion on you. If it comes up and you feel like you're comfortable to share what you believe, just make sure not to push it on someone, because this space is meant to be, dare I say, sacred. It's meant to be enjoyed, restful, and a chance to relax the mind, relax the body, and I tell you, there's something special about smoking a premium cigar, so try not to ruin that. Don't be the guy at the fire pit that when you walk away, they say, man, that guy just would not stop talking about what he thought was right. Slow it down, count to 3, and think whether or not that, am I adding to the conversation, or am I making it about me? Remember guys, premium tobacco is unoffensive, so in your conversation, try to be unoffensive when you're smoking cigars with friends or at a lounge. So I'm not yet ready to ash this, but what do you look for when you're ashing a cigar? That is a very, very difficult question to answer, because when you're ashing a cigar, it's about timing. I keep saying that cigars are meant to be studied and observed and enjoyed. That's not quite ready to ash, and I can tell by the real tight construction. And again, I'm smoking the Padron 1964 anniversary series, the Pyramid. They've got great construction, great craftsmanship, but I just personally know that it's not ready to ash. And when it is, we'll come back to that. But I want to show you how tight the construction on the ash is. If you start to see this bend one way and the construction become loose at the seam where the ash meets the unsmoked tobacco, it's about ready to ash. And I'll discuss later on how you ash properly. It would be unfair of me to, if I'm talking about do's and don'ts at a cigar lounge, cigar smoking, to discuss some of the myths that go along with smoking cigars. And one of the myths is that you can control the even burn. My brother called me the other day and he asked me about it. Did it mean he had a bad cigar? Did it mean he was smoking it wrong? A lot of people with a lot of opinions, but at the end of the day, that has to do with the leaf and the construction. If you lit it evenly all the way around, then the speed you smoke it is not going to affect that. So don't be scared. You see how that's burning just slightly uneven? But look how beautiful those edges are where the ash meets. So something to look for in a cigar brand is consistency. And that's one of the ways you know you have a premium label, a premium brand, like this Pyramid Anniversary 1964 by Padron, is they have consistent draw. They're gonna burn in a consistent manner like this does. I mean, every one of these sticks is gonna burn the same. That's how you know you have a great cigar. If the draw is different every time, if it ashes different every time, then you don't have that consistency. And in my opinion, consistency equals quality, okay? We smoked this 1964 Anniversary Pyramid here at the Cigar Cellar, and it's my first time, and so far I'm seeing that beautiful ash, consistent draw, great construction. You say, well, how do I know it's got great construction? By the consistency of the ash. Do you see how it's not falling apart, it's not flaky? I've had cigars ash within the first 3 minutes. In my opinion, that's a bad cigar. It doesn't always necessarily mean that you're gonna get 3 inches of ash. That means it's a great cigar. But a good cigar is gonna be able to hold its own for a while. That right there, that's an excellent cigar. Okay, so look at the ash. You see how it's still not separating? That means I'm still not quite ready to ash. And for those of you who don't know what that means, just simply means to let the ash off the cigar. When I ash a cigar, that's all I'm going to be doing, and I'll show you all of that when it comes time. Now, the do's and don'ts on ashing a cigar. The biggest misconception is that you treat it like a cigarette. Again, this is nothing like a cigarette. A lot of people will take the cigar and they'll smash it into the ashtray, and it'll stop the burn, it'll shove all that ash up into the cigar. Another thing they'll do is they'll tap it on the edge of the ashtray. What that'll do is that'll crack, no matter how great of a cigar that is, that can still crack the leaf and ruin the burn time, ruin the draw. So I'm gonna show you how to properly ash a cigar. You're just gonna turn it at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm just gonna give it a slight roll on the edge. You ready? That's all. You see that cone? That's what we want. That is the slower burning tobacco. You see that perfect shape of the cone? That tells me that the construction on this is solid and it's burning evenly. A lot of people think that that is an issue. That's not an issue. That's a good sign on the cigar. That's still burning. You don't need to try to roll that off or smash it into the ashtray. What you have to be aware of, and what you want to be really careful, is that you don't let it get too long, especially if you're wearing nice clothes at the lounge, and let the ash drop. Ladies, if you're wearing a nice outfit, it'll drop right on it, could smudge and ruin it. You've got to ride that fine line between not letting it ash on your clothes and not being awkwardly standing over the ashtray the whole time. One of the clues to watch for, and it's very rare to see so soon on a great cigar like this, but it's when you start to see those seams separate a little bit and the ash just tilt, it's about to ash by itself. You might as well give it a nice slight roll or let it rest for a little bit and see if it does it by itself. Quick reminder, whatever you do, don't handle someone else's cigar. That is very bad etiquette, and you might lose a friend and a great cigar. If you're going to a cigar lounge, this might not so much apply to a sports bar or to a friend's house, but if you're going to a cigar lounge, check the dress codes. Odds are, if it's a nice cigar lounge, they're gonna want you to wear business casual. You don't have to know all of this before you start. That's what we wanna help with today, is we wanna educate you, we wanna show you some of the great things about cigar cultures. We want to give you some of the do's and the don'ts. But my biggest don't is don't let intimidation scare you off from enjoying a premium cigar. Start. It's not addictive. It's not a habit. It's a hobby. So what's one thing you can do? If you want to start smoking cigars, go buy a cigar, cut it, light it, and enjoy it. If you mess up, the great news is you can always go and get another stick. What to do when you get to the label? Some people think that's when the cigar is over. That is not at all when the cigar is over. There's still so much left to smoke here. However, there's several ways to take it off, and I want to show you. If it hasn't gotten quite this far, then there's a seam right here. You're just going to pull that back. Another way I like to do it, especially on this type of cigar, is I like to just pull it all the way up. There you go. There's no shame in throwing the label in the ashtray. If you're gonna collect the labels, the Padron 1964 anniversary is definitely one to collect. Have you ever been sitting with someone smoking a cigar and you saw them take the end of their cigar and just roll it in their whiskey or their scotch? Maybe just on the inside of it? You think, is that crazy? Is that stupid? Well, first of all, make sure it's not the ash end first. Make sure it's the head, not the foot. That is completely acceptable. The reason they do that is because, you know, they're drinking a good scotch, a good bourbon, a good whiskey, and they're smoking premium tobacco. And there's this contrast between puffing on the cigar and going to the whiskey, puffing on the cigar and going to the whiskey. They like to roll the cigar on the inside of the cup to get just a little bit of that liquor on the tip of the cigar. So when they put it in their mouth, they're getting both the flavors. Something I've seen a lot of with cigar smokers is when they get down to about here, they think the cigar is over. Can I just tell you that that is not even close to being done yet. Some of the greatest flavors in a cigar come out right here at the last. If you've got to get a pin, if you got to push a match through the head there, if you got to get you a clip, I don't care what you got to do, find a way to smoke the last part of that cigar until it just about burns your fingers, okay? There's so much flavor in that portion of the cigar. So whatever you do, don't count it out until you can no longer hold this stick anymore. Something you need to know when you do finally put out the cigar is, again, this is not a cigarette. Please do not smash it into the ashtray. What you're gonna do whenever you decide that you're done with the cigar is you're just gonna set it on the ashtray and let it rest. You don't smash it, you don't put it out, because what that does is that throws ash into the air and smoke into the air, and it can be very offensive. So the proper etiquette when you're done with the cigar is just to set it in the ashtray or set it on the top there and let it go out naturally. Still got a few minutes on this. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, if it was helpful, please subscribe, like, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below, and come check us out sometime at the Cigar Cellar here in Kennesaw.